Hey guys, Michael here with hellocupcakeitsme, and if you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe. And yeah, let's get right into it. Today is Wednesday, and it is July 28th, and the internet has been on one, especially the bitches of Facebook. Let me tell you, the last couple of days, I have been dealing with some wow on Facebook. Like, you motherfuckers are trying to get me put back in Facebook jail, aren't you? Yeah. I have this one person on my Facebook feed who thinks that because they were educated by University of Phoenix that they are the end-all be-all of all fonts of knowledge or whatever, and always has an opinion about everything when her opinion is that of nothing, really. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we all have our opinions and we all have our beliefs and whatever, but it's like coming from a very obscure methodology, and I was just like, so the post in question, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but oh well, it'll just get filtered out and deleted. But I put together a meme and I posted it, and it says, tell me that you are not a culturally appropriating colonizer without telling me you're a culturally appropriating colonizer. Now, to give you some backstory on this, the Native Americans and are the First Nations people, I should say, have started calling white people colonizers as a way to, whatever. I'm not going to get into the whole politics and whatever of the whole colonizer movement. I personally agree with the colonizer movement, but is that because I'm Native, or is that because of whatever? Who knows? I have been told that I am Native American, Apache Muscalero, and European White. Most specifically Scandinavian and Viking. I know that I do have some Welsh and Irish and stuff like that in me, so my whole life I was told that I'm 50-50. Okay, cool. Never done a 23andMe type situation to find out if that is actually true or what percentile I have of this, that, or the other thing, but that's neither here nor there. I align myself with First Nations people, and so when there's a tragedy like the missing, murdered, and Indigenous women, or the children's bodies being found at those boarding schools in Canada and now across the nation, Standing Rock, all that other stuff, those are things that I take personally, and my heart and my soul and spirit aligns with the First Nations people. So I might not be Native here, but I'm Native here, if nowhere else. I approach the elders of the tribes with respect, and each one of them I approach in what is significant to them and how you would approach an elder of that tribe. There's an elder in town who is Lakota, and I approach him when I'm entering his shop very respectfully, and if I'm asking him any questions, I always bring him a gift of tobacco or sage or an abalone shell or a bandana, or sometimes it'll just be a tobacco pouch with a bandana, and I'll offer it to him as a gift and honor him as an elder. I have friends that are Elwa, and I will approach the Elwa elders with salmon or with blackberries or other culturally relevant things to that elder. And so, you know, I try to be respectful of my elders, regardless of what tribe they're from. So, you know, that aside. So the meme that I posted was that tell me that you're not a culturally appropriating or a cultural appropriating colonizer without telling me you're one. And it was a picture of a dream catcher with a beaded Christian cross in the center of it. And I just posted that. So at first people are going to be all like, well, what's wrong with being Christian? Well, nothing's wrong with being Christian, but to have it inside of a dream catcher is a little bit like, really? I mean, yeah, it was beautiful and it was pretty and everything else, but if you look back at it and like everything that's coming up in history and was like just recent history, Christianity and Catholicism was forced on the First Nations people. And genocide took place on the First Nations people for learning or speaking their language, for doing anything that was culturally or traditionally sacred or the norm for those people, for those tribes, for, you know, whatever. It wasn't until 1978 that Native Americans and First Nations people were given their right to practice their freedom and to practice their traditional cultural doings. 1978. That's not that long ago. That's like, what, 42, 43 years ago? Okay? So, yes, I do realize that some First Nations people, some tribal members, some Native Americans, whatever you want to call it, are Christian, are Catholic, are Buddhist, are whatever. But this person was saying it like it was something more than it was. And I was making this, and I made the statement that the First Nations people were not originally Christian. And had they not known about Christianity and had it not been forced on them, that they may not have ever converted. And that many to this day still are not Christian or Catholic or whatever else. That they follow their tribal religions or a earth-based spirituality. I said, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And so it has become this huge, long, blown up, exaggerated thing. So I've been dealing with that. And I'm just like, you know what? Fine, whatever. The last thing that I posted to this person was Stockholm Syndrome does some amazing stuff for us. Just a generation later, and we're loving that which oppresses us. So, yeah. They have since responded with several other things, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. I try to do what's right for me, and what I feel in my heart is right for me. I never try to impose my religion, my political beliefs, what little that I do have, or any agenda on anyone. Like, you know, what's right for my garden is not going to be right for my neighbor's garden. And I'm all about trying to constantly grow myself as a person, grow myself in my spirituality, whatever that might look like. You know, what I do in a spiritual practice may not look like a spiritual practice to anyone else, and just be like, oh God, what is this guy doing? He's weird. But, you know, what I do may not be right for my neighbor. What my neighbor does might not be right for me. But I will respect my neighbor as long as my neighbor respects me. And even then, I will always try to take the higher road. And if my neighbor is down here and I'm up here, I will try to equal the playing field so that we are both equal. A lot of times that doesn't work. A lot of times that doesn't happen. But I always try to approach people with respect unless they show otherwise. And then it's like, okay, fine, now you get to see the asshole in me. And you know, a lot of you people, let me rephrase that. A lot of us are lost and stunted and stagnant in our growth because we're out here driving around with directions that were meant for somebody else. And, you know, it's okay to live your life by a template, but if you want to do more than what that template allows, that's when you have to be creative and explore outside those boundaries. It's fine to model yourself and have like this idea and then build on or build around that idea. But if you're just gonna follow the same template as like your neighbor next door, and that neighbor is gonna follow the same template as the neighbor next door to them, and so on and so forth, eventually you're living a very humdrum, mundane, pedestrian life. And I like to be a very dynamic person. Yeah, I get on here and I talk about my mental health and not doing much of anything and laying in bed all day long and whatever else, but when I'm in the midst of my depression and my whatever and having a bad mental health day, I'm not just laying there in bed doing nothing. I'm reading stuff on the internet. I'm looking at videos. I'm watching things. I'm like learning. I'm absorbing. I'm creating a lot of times. That's one of the things that I do when I'm really like kind of having a bad mental health day is I create. I try to be positive as much as possible. Daily, I write a passage into my little book that I'm creating called Carpe Scroto. Yeah, Carpe Scroto. Grab your day by the balls. And, you know, every day I write a positive, affirming message and I post it on my Facebook. And I'm taking that and I'm transforming it into a book that I eventually one day want to publish. And every day there's just something new that comes to mind and it's my spirit talking to me and me putting what I'm hearing in my spirit onto paper, or well, making it digital anyways, but so in order to grow, you cannot be stagnant. And in order to do anything special, you have to do what's right for you. As long as you're not hurting anyone else or yourself, and you know what, let's face it, we're going to hurt other people emotionally. What I'm talking about is hurting other people physically. If you're not physically hurting somebody with what you are doing to make your life better, then continue doing it. Emotionally, people are going to get hurt. They're going to have an opinion. They're going to have to say something about something. It is what it is. People just do the things. And, you know, me saying, me acting, me doing things a certain way may hurt somebody else's feelings, may cause them to feel less than or whatever. But it is never my intention. When I wake up in the morning, I don't get out of bed like, I'm gonna fuck somebody's day up today. No, that's not my intention. I don't want somebody to put their negativity on me, and I don't want to put my negativity on someone else. Now, from a spiritualistic counselor aspect, I try to take that negativity that you're putting at me, dissolve it, and put it back on you as positivity. You're coming at me negatively. Okay, 9 times out of 10, when you're pissed off at somebody, it has nothing to do with that person. Like if you're at a grocery store or something and you get pissed off at the checker, it's not usually the checker's fault. That checker is just one person in a whole string of people from your immediate past that has caused you inconvenience, and you lose your temper on them. Now, there are those times where you're having a great day and all of a sudden, bam, the checker is the start and the root of your problem. You know, that's something completely different. But 9 times out of 10, it's because you're already having a shit day, or you're feeling rushed, or whatever else, and you take it out on the next person. There's a lot of times where I have people meet me with like massive anger, massive aggression, massive whatever, and I just have to, whoa, sir, madam, whatever, you're at a 14, I'm gonna need you at a 2, okay? Bring your shit down. I'm not the one that you need to be yelling at. And if you think you're going to yell at me and continue to berate me when I'm over here just trying to be a good person or whatever, then we're gonna have a problem, boo-boo. So yeah, it's just one of those things that you cannot meet aggression with aggression. And that whole, you know, the grass is greener on the other side, that's because they might be watering their grass all the time. Or there's a septic tank under where that grass is green, and that's their leach field. You don't know why their grass is green. Focus on you, focus on your garden, focus on what's good for you. And, you know, if nothing else, that's the takeaway that I want you to take from this video today is stop living your life utilizing other people's directions. You are not the sum of your whole. You know, that wasn't the right thing, but you are not meant to follow a guideline that somebody else has put on you. Quit asking permission to live your life. You only get one. I mean, yeah, if you believe in reincarnation, then this is just one of many, but that aside, you only get one life. You only get this one life to live. You got to do what is best for you. Doesn't matter if it's good for your family, doesn't matter if it's good for your parents, doesn't matter who it's good for. You've got to do good. You've got to do right by you. If you have children, you got to do right by you and your children, but only until your children are adults. Then you do what's right for you when it's right for you. As long as you don't harm anyone in the process. Don't harm yourself. Don't harm others. Take every negative aspect that is being thrown at you, pull it apart, look for the positive. Find the positive in the negative. I've talked about this before in other videos. If you've been talking about needing to work out more and all this other stuff, and then your car breaks down, yeah, it sucks that your car is gone, but now this is the universe giving you that, okay, well, here's your chance to work out more. You know, don't talk into existence that which you don't want to happen. Your words have power. That's why when you write, it's called spelling. You are putting your power out into the universe. Your words, the vibration, the tone, everything, it has power. And by speaking it, you manifest it. So if you're constantly talking about you're having a bad day, you're pissed off, you're upset with your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your job or whatever, then you're just creating this cloud of negativity that is going to then shower upon you constantly. But if you're like, hey, you know what? Today was kind of a crap day at work, but I got to do X, Y, Z, and I got this taken care of, and I got that taken care of, so, you know, tomorrow's gonna be better because I dealt with all this today. Having that positive spin on things does help. And again, I know from some of my previous videos where I'm crying and I'm upset and I'm pissed off and I'm manic and just horribly depressed, that it's like, really? You don't practice what you preach? But I do. I try to do just that. Even when I'm the most depressed, upset, lonely person, where I lay in bed and just cry my freaking eyes out because, for whatever reason, I still try to be positive, and I still try to exude that positivity. Yeah, I'm overly opinionated sometimes, and I'm trying to work on that as well. But it's when you don't work on those things that's where you become stagnant. And I'm constantly trying to work on those things. I'm constantly trying to be mindful of the type of stuff that I post on social media now. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna quit harping on that. I'm just like really fired up right now because I just had a conversation with my friend about all of this also, and it was still fresh on my mind, and I knew I had to make this video today. So what I only wanted to be 15 minutes has now turned into almost 22 minutes. So guys, I'm sorry about that, but I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Go out, do good things today. Drink water, unclench your jaw, take some deep breaths, and grab your day by the balls and fuck it up. So until next time, I will talk to y'all later. Make sure you follow me over on TikTok, and I will talk to you then. Bye, guys.